Hello and good morning. Today we're going to be playing two decks. We're going to play some Gruul Stompy and then we're going to play some Dimir Flash. So first up, Gruul Stompy. So this deck was from one of the Magic Fest Onlines. We're playing Kahira. We've basically got Grazer, and then we've got Thrashing Bontodon, we've got Questing Beast and Ceratops, and then we've got a pair of Cavaliers. And we also have Fires so that we can kind of do all of this stuff. Making sure that we can kind of activate the Cavalier or equip Embercleave. Kind of neat idea. We've also got some cages in the board, we've got some more Ceratops for some of those matchups, we've got some Wraths if we need those. This deck seems sweet. Grazer helping us ramp up, and then Kahira pumping everything seems really sweet. So let's get started with this one. Grim Spider, thank you for the offline follow, it's greatly appreciated. I think we are supposed to try and have a Grazer on opening hand. Or at least enough lands to cast our spells. This one's probably better than the other ones. So we're against Karuga, so this is probably a Fires deck. I don't think I've seen any Karuga decks that haven't had Fires in them yet. Don't think I'm in for another land yet. Let's play Kahira. Just going to cycle this Triome this turn. Hopefully just jamming the Cavalier next turn will help us hit some more gas. Discard a few cards. Yup. They're digging for lands. They didn't find any, so that's good for us. Vivian's a really nice pickup, so we actually jam Vivian instead. I'm gonna have a Vigilance Beast.
Beauty lies in variation.
This means that we then, when we cast this Cavalier, it's going to find some more stuff.
I hope things get out of hand.
As long as it doesn't find a Grazer. Knowing my luck, it's going to find a Grazer. Okay, my opponent didn't do anything, so that always helps. Against Fires, I guess we want these other Ceratops. Just more hasty things. Probably don't want these Dragon Fires, and maybe just want a couple of ambushes so we can try and kill the Planeswalkers. Maybe just don't want all the Ceratops, just bring an extra one. There's no need for us to have Cage. Chandra's not amazing here. I don't want any of these Wraths, so I think I'll probably just go with this. This hand's great. The Grazer lets us ramp as well. Means we get to jam Kahita this turn. Death Eddy. Sure. This isn't the end of the world because we'll get to kill Fetty next turn. So.
This is hardly my worst defeat.
So we lead on Cavalier Thorns. Okay, that's fine. We lead on Cavalier Thorns because if it ramps us a land, then it means that we can Cavalier and haste if we hit the right land. So we need to hit a red source for next turn. That's actually some really good mills getting rid of those grazers. Here's a Cavalier. Sure. I'm holding this because if we find another Cavalier, we can ditch these, or if they kill this, then we get to bring it back. Making a 2/2. Are they blocking with the 2/2? They are not blocking with a 2/2. Right, let's draw a card. This card lets us draw a card if we have a control creature with power 4 or greater, which we do. I don't think we care about this shark, so just gonna pass. Conqueror's Death is exceptionally rude. Maybe a great time to rip a Cavalier of Flame. Well, better late than never. Goodbye. Sweet. We've got, what, 3 lands in the graveyard, so if this dies, it deals 3 damage to each opponent, each planeswalker they control, so... Did I play a land? I did play a land. In come the boys. Yeah, I'll put it on top, sure. They've only got Teferi. Teferi doesn't deal with the Ceratops when the Conqueror's Death finish it, if the 3rd chapter goes off, so... So like they can draw a card with it, but they can't interact with this. They do need to find something else.
You'll thank me later. No red mana out of them is great.
Are you dead? Castle makes a token, we can give trample. Okay, Shark the Sky works fine. Another warrant. That's kind of annoying. We only have 10 mana, right? Yeah, and we don't have 6 red. Yeah, I guess that we should have potentially played around the warrant there because it was like the only thing they could have.
Might be a bad idea.
Right, I'm not going to play the... I'm going to do this and try and hit...
I hope things get out of hand for you.
Try and hit a Ceratops.
Savagery loves company.
And then if we hit untapped green, which we didn't, we could have given haste and killed them, but never mind. Why is that on top of our deck? Oh, because we get to see the top of our deck because Vivian does it. They found a red source. Sure.
That's more like it.
Sure, that's still not an answer to shifting Ceratops, so...
I have just the trick for this.
The fact that the Guardian doesn't do anything either... That looks pretty dead. That is a blocker. So the cleave is lethal.
We will adapt.
Or
to
just playing the Cavalier they know about and giving everything haste is also lethal, so, you know. Things that do not matter. Smash. Why are you trying to block? Oh, we figured it out. Okay, good. Okay, 1-0. Okay, next one. Yeah, this sounds fine. Grazer with Dragonfire is going to be pretty good in a game 1. You can also just play the Heat on 3. An island. So this looks like the Dimir Flash deck that we're going to be playing next, so it'll be interesting to see how it handles this matchup. Do you just love a main deck Mystical Dispute? Well, if we're just going to keep drawing them, we're going to keep casting them because one of them is going to resolve. Yep. Destroy my questing beast, sure. Don't know why I didn't do that on my turn. Land, please. That is not a land. Would really appreciate a land, please. I'm asking nicely, deck. Ta. Guess we should probably shock in so we can do both, do 2 activations of Cavalier Flame. Guess if we find a untapped red, we could do 3 activations of it. Which we didn't, but that's okay. We don't need that, so. Sure. Alright, enjoy your trumps. And this is just 1 land so far, sure. So yeah, that kind of showcased why Fire's Invention's in our deck. It gives us a massive amount of game in that kind of matchup. I still like the Dragonfires here, to be able to interact. Obviously want the extra Ceratops. Vivian's maybe just not going to resolve. If I cut the Vivians and just bring in the 2 extra Ceratops. Actually, like having these. Really not sure what to cut. Like the deck seems really tuned, and I don't really know what I should be cutting. Maybe it is just a couple of Brontodons. Like they're unlikely to have anything that's going to interact with us that are artifacts and enchantments out of that deck. I think the only thing they're playing is either Cage or Leyline of the Void. So don't really care about the rest of these. I think Dragonfire is good interaction. Yeah, let's just go with this. Don't think we can keep that. This one's better because at least it's got the fires. Just gonna go on drawing a land. We can't even cast Kahita on 3 with this hand, so that's better. Yeah, that's a pretty good start from them. Yeah, that's a really good start from them. still don't know who will keep up with this start. This is like the best start out of this Demir Flash deck. We might. That's a good draw. We might just be able to push over the top if this fires resolves. So we've got that we can draw toward. Sure. If this doesn't resolve, which it won't, we'll just move on to game 3 on the play. If that doesn't resolve, then there's no chance of us resolving any of this stuff next turn. So don't think I want to change anything. Yeah, none of that's really gonna help. So just really want a Grazer start in this matchup, I think. In fact, I'm gonna rephrase that. I want a Grazer start in every matchup. Ugh. I prefer this hand, and I'm going to throw away the Grazer, because obviously we have no mana to cast it, so... This hand is very reliant on this Fire's Invention resolving, which is highly unlikely. So we are 21% for an untapped green source. I don't know what we're... I feel like I need to play the untapped land so we can play the fires, but at the same point it's just not going to resolve, so... Not having any kind of discard for them or any kind of... like, this is the kind of deck where Veil of Summer would be fine. Like, it's not going to be broken, but it'd be fine just to be able to push through our spells. Let's try this one to start. Yep. Does that mean this is resolving, or do you need to try and find the counter spell? Okay, let's move on to another game. That matchup seems horrific for us, unless we can have an accelerated start and draw all of our fires. Probably another half an hour with this deck. This deck seems sweet. So maybe 2 matches, 3 matches if we're lucky. This hand's great. It's a Kahira Mirror, so they might be doing the same things. But they are definitely not doing the same things. This could well be the blue-white control deck that's just playing Kahira because they have no creatures. And it is entirely a free roll. jam a Teferi for once in your life. I want you to jam the Teferi. God damn it. He's getting absorbed. Neutralized, sure. Okay, we don't mind the Teferi here now. We bounce this, we get to play fires, we get to play the Kahira again, and then have the Grazer attack the Teferi. So yeah, we get to do this, we get to cast this, and then we get to kill the Teferi. And then if we hit a land, we've got access to Vivian. We are 49% to draw a land here.
Right on schedule.
Stop bouncing my Kahira.
I've got it.
Recast. Okay, so this is going to let us just get a Grazer out of our deck.
If you don't respect nature, we're gonna have a problem.
Or not, because I didn't activate the ability. Clever.
I'd like you to meet my friend. Stop
It's
it.
only a matter of time.
It's fine. It was just going to get a Grazer out of our deck, so it wasn't a big deal. And we've got Stomping Ground on top. Narset. Sure, that's probably Akira.
Strike with a cunning mind.
So we get to discard a spell to throw some damage there. And Vivian hangs around. This is ace. Okay, what's on top? A land. That's not so hot.
Beauty lies in variation.
Yeah, I think I want one more land, but that's the last land I want to be playing.
How overwhelming.
Because Cavalier of Flame will let us discard these to draw some cards. So just playing their own Kahira. Well, that means there's no Wrath, so that's good for us. Right, okay, so I want to minus the Vivian, cast the Questing Beast. That finds a Brontodon. Okay. Sure. That's a weird point to concede. We don't want any of those, so bring in the Chandra and the 2 extra Ceratops. Don't feel like we need any of the other ones. There's a chance that we want the Storm's Wrath after board, but didn't really see enough of their win conditions to warrant doing that. No. This hand's much better. That's a very good land in this matchup. I'm going to keep that. As much as I really want a fires, like that's just great to have. Right, I'm just digging for fires now, I think. Don't mind if this gets countered. It's not a massive importance in this matchup, but it just means that we've end up getting like a 1 for 0, because this isn't in our deck, so just gets a counter spell out of them. Well, I mean, that's a good one to stick, isn't it? Probably just get the questing, try the questing beast, and then Ceratops next turn. Want to make sure we can Ceratops when there's actually something important in play, like we might just jam both these Cavaliers before we jam this. Knowing this can't get countered, so. They've done a lot of damage to themselves.
I'm known for my excellent timing. I've got time.
I've got time. Let's ditch both of these lands. Perfect. They get to cast this Omen. The reason I chose this turn to go for Cavalier was after they went for the Teferi and bounced the Omen, it was unlikely for them to have a counter spell of real consequence with the 2 lands they had. Most of their counters are at 3 with neutralize or similar spells, so
Trust me, I have a plan.
if they kill this Cavalier, then its trigger will kill the Teferi, which is nice. Got another Teferi, okay, so that means this Cavalier's getting bounced. But that's not a big deal. So now they've got counterspell magic up. We're gonna jam the shifting Ceratops and kill the second Teferi. So, Elspeth Conquers Death is probably the best card they can have this next turn. If they do that, it probably means they have to tap out so that we can probably resolve the Fires and the Vivian, which would be pretty good for us. So yeah, I'm expecting them to play Elspeth Conquers Death to exile the Ceratops, but with that costing 5 mana, it'll only leave them a maximum of 2 up, and we should be able to resolve the Fires and the Vivian after that. Is the idea. Whether that happens or not, we'll see, but that is how I'm expecting this to go. If they don't have the Elspeth Conquers Death, then that's excellent for us, but let's see what they've got. Looks like they were trying Kahira, were they? They got nothing. They got nothing. That's interesting. So, am I supposed to just activate the Enclave or this turn? Or I guess I can just jam another Cavalier, right? Yeah, the questing beast in the graveyard. I'm gonna jam this Cavalier, I think. We're gonna attack first. Again, not expecting this to resolve, which it doesn't. They have Essence Scatter as well, which is good to know about. So when we were talking about them having 2 mana up, our Fires and Vivian would have potentially been, they'd have been fine because they're not creatures. So it's just something to bear in mind. Should just activate the castle here, I'd imagine. Not making a 3/3 shark, sure. Okay, so more things that don't interact with the Ceratops, that's great for us. They do get to draw a card off it, but they need something to deal with the Ceratops pretty quick. And they want to kill themselves. They found the Conqueror's Death, and they've obviously got a neutralize. Yep. This game's over. I think we just got slightly unlucky there. I'm just gonna run it back. Woof. I feel like I'm still supposed to keep this. Like, we are 49% to draw lands, so... Like, we are a very land heavy deck. Like, we have 28 lands in our deck for that purpose. Right, okay, so we're just going to jam this Grazer and put this Bonder's Enclave into play. And then hopefully that means that we can find an untapped land this turn, and then we can just jam Fires. I don't mind this one not resolving, so would really like Questing Beast to resolve, because I would imagine that they're going to Teferi me. If they Teferi me, then I want to make sure this is actually still a hasty threat we can cast to be able to hit them and kill the Teferi. Worth noting that with the Fires, we can activate this Bonder's Enclave next turn, as well as casting our 2 spells. Assuming that we draw the, assuming that they let this resolve, which isn't a guarantee. But it did, so. And it's an attack for 9, making a 1/1. Sure. Yup. So we're going to draw a card. We hit an Ember Cleave. I'm just going to play the second Fires out so that they can't just Conquer's Death me off having Fires in play. Okay, we get to draw a card off this, which is great. So we get to cast this Cavalier. Put a land into play, cast this Chandra, emblem them, and then we actually get to draw a card with this as well. Man, this deck is sweet when it's going. The Bonder's Enclave with the Fires is just absolutely brilliant. Big fan, big fan. Yep, what you choosing? Sure. So they're actually dead here, so.
Hope it's not too hot for you.
Whee! That was fun. That was good stuff. That was. Right. The last one with this deck, and then we'll move on to the Dimir Flash for the rest of the day. That was some excellent stuff there. Big fan. I'd love to play first. No chance. Hands pretty much perfect. Gonna ditch the Brontodon. that's both of the triomes, right? And there's one more triome. Oh no, poor opponent, I've got a blocker. I think the Dragonfire there as a draw was pretty good for non-land draws. That was up there. You ain't robbing nothing from me. Not today. Right, untap land. Okay. Of non-land draws, that's excellent. I think I'm just jamming Kahira this turn though, because the Brontodon's going to be useful when they're able to cast Cleave. So if we can get the fires down a couple of turns and then have the Brontodon activation up to protect us from Cleave, that would be excellent. Goodbye, Kahira. Yep. Okay, this turn we'll just play the Brontodon out. Just looking for more mana, or as much as I want the Cavalier, like I need to get the mana online first, so. Yikes. Yikes. When the mono red opponent hits turn 4 and still hasn't hit you at all. Smack you in the face. Yep. Okay. Oh, mono red. I guess this is probably where we need to trim some of this top end and probably bring in some of these Storm's Wraths. Cut like that. Cut one of each of those and just have a bunch of Storm's Wraths to help us catch up. I still like having, I guess we don't need the Ceratops and we could just play all the Cavaliers still. So we've got Questing Beast and Cavaliers. I still need Brontodon to deal with their cleave. Don't think Vivian's not necessarily the most relevant, although I guess Vivian with casting any of our big creatures helps us get Brontodon. Yeah, okay, I've talked myself into that. We'll cut one of each of those and we'll leave the Vivian in, because if we get Vivian then it helps us find the Brontodon to protect against that. So Flame Sweep is definitely a consideration, but I don't think we want it. I think Storm's Wrath is going to be better just because they get some creatures out of that range. Stream has disconnected. Why has stream disconnected? Yeah, this hand's fine. Where was the network? That's very rude. It's fine. At least I'm recording offline, so it's fine. Right. Get our scry on. Kind of in for a 5th land, but I think I would rather try and dig to some more interaction. Okay, now they've got a robber. Alright, don't have anything good. Okay, that's fine. It's not getting cast this turn, so. Ooh, that's a good one. I think I'm just supposed to do this and just take a hit from the robber again. Right, we can scry something bad to the top. I need to put that on the bottom right. Does mean we get Jam Fires a turn earlier though, so I think that's worthwhile doing that. Jamming the Fires a turn early just seems exactly what we want to be doing. Alright, see what they get this time. They get a red cavalier. Yikes. Come on. Let me block. Killing my grazer? They're killing my grazer. Poor little grazer. He fought so hard. I need to kill this before they start casting things. Next turn we can go land, Vivian, Questing Beast, get a Brontodon. It seems like that would be pretty good. We can find a land where we can still cycle this as well. That would be, there we go. That's the stuff. Right, so we'll minus this, cast Questing Beast, go and find a Brontodon. Having another Brontodon on top seems pretty good too. Lava Coil my Questing Beast. That seems exceptionally rude, but I'll allow it just now. Assume that means they're not attacking. They are attacking. I mean, I don't really want to lose my Brontodon, so, and they're not attacking Vivian, so I'll block here, and if they have a pump, they have a pump there. Okay, that's fine. Maybe they need to light up the stage. Kind of makes sense if they need to light up the stage. Yeah, sure. That makes some sense. And they've got a land. They have a 1-drop, which they don't. Okay, so we get to cycle this. Alright, what's on top? Nothing. So we get to make a beast. And we'll make a vigilant beast. We get to play a Brontodon out. Get to play the Kira out. And attack them for 4. I'm assuming Twitch is having issues. Twitch has gone down for scheduled maintenance, which I was not aware of, so well. Okay, so we'll just do this offline. I still have every and as soon as I click go live, the turn off live, it stops the recording. That's clever. I will need to spool these two together. I mean, I'll quite happily trade the beast for that. Like, that seems like a weird attack. So I can scribe out to the bottom. Cast the Grazer. Decline to put that into play. Cast a Cavalier. Put a Triome into play. So land on top.
We will adapt to any threat.
I just feel very safe here. Like, there's just nothing they can really do in terms of reach with the Brontodons in play. Like, they can't cleave us, so this Robber's not doing anything either. A couple of threats, but nothing major there. These must be coming at us though. Guess they can't even attack really, can they? No.
Adversity is
Yes,
outrageous
I can't
strength.
really attack either though, so at least I've got this Planeswalker ticking up. And then as soon as we hit another creature, it's game. So killing one of my Brontodons. Okay, I'll allow it. Could have killed the Cavalier, so because it deals 2 more. So glad they didn't do that. Okay, back to me. I think I'm actually just supposed to play the second Vivian and keep my hand empty.
Every creature deserves life.
Gets an extra token into play as well.
I love making new friends.
My beast army. Okay. Maybe they found something that means they can cast one of these. I don't know. Guess I should have thrown an extra one in front of the Torbrand, but the spell that does nothing here. Where would you like to put it? Because wherever you want it, it's not going there. Okay, good. I don't think I've ever dismantled mono red quite as convincingly as that, so that was a good feeling. Okay, that's gonna be that for this deck. This deck is sweet. Again, we'll definitely be playing this again. I didn't even see when we were doing the initial intro about Bonder's Enclave. This card is the real deal. Oh, I wish it would just. I want to put this in. Yeah, here we go. So Bonder's Enclave. It took one of them out as well. Why would it do that? So Bonder's Enclave, working with fires. So if we have like a Questing Beast or Ceratops, any of our big 4 creatures in play, then it means that we just get to keep drawing cards. Absolutely ridiculous in this deck, where we just get to play our Cavaliers as normal with fires and just draw cards. It was brilliant. Kahira, just having an extra card is relevant, but beyond that, I didn't do a massive amount, so nothing too much to say about Kahira. It's just every time you get a free opportunity to play a companion, you should have an extra card every time. It felt good in the control matchup. As much as we lost that matchup in the end, that might have just been down to my poor draws or my misplaying, but having the extra card just means that it's a bit more difficult for them to climb ahead because they've got to counter an extra thing or they've got to deal with an extra thing. But yeah, I think having a Grazer early is very important. The deck is land heavy at 28 lands. It might be that it's right to have an extra one of these in just because it's so important to be able to win those kind of matchups where you're trying to grind. It's also just super sweet. Embercleave came in handy once as well. Vivian, this is the Vivian deck. Just being able to cast a Cavalier, get a Ceratops, Brontodon or Questing Beast into play is just brilliant. And as soon as you can do that, and then you can give everything haste with the Cavalier, just superb. It might be correct for this to have Bone Crushers instead of Scorching Dragonfires, just to be able to have an extra threat. I don't know if the 3 damage between and the Exile is relevant or not. I think that's something worth testing, that Bone Crusher, as much as it's 1 less damage, having an extra creature might be more relevant, having an extra threat. So I definitely want to try that out if we give this another go. From the sideboard, we didn't end up bringing in the Flame Sweeps. I don't know what the Flame Sweeps are for when you've got Storm's Wrath. It's just a bigger thing. It might be that Flame Sweeps supposed to be for mono red. I felt like I would rather have the Storm's Wrath because you need to be able to kill the Anax and you need to be able to kill the Steamkin as well, which are important. But yeah, overall this deck was just superb, so I would definitely recommend playing this one. It's sweet.